When you open a request in Hornbill Service Manager, you're not just looking at a blank form. A request is a structured record with actions available to service desk agents. A process running behind it, categories used to classify it, and a workflow tracker showing where it sits in its lifecycle. All of this behavior, how a request looks, what agents can do with it, and how it's processed is configured at the service level, separately for each request type. In this video, we'll explore the request configuration area within the service page and look at how these settings shape the request experience. From the service page, we'll open up the request configuration area from the service toolbar. Across the top, you'll see tabs for each request type: incident, service request, problem, known error, change, and release. Each request type is configured independently, meaning an incident on this service can behave completely differently from a service request or a change. Let's take a look at what each section controls. The first thing to check is whether the request type is enabled for the service. This is controlled using the toggle on the right hand side. If it's switched off, that request type can't be raised against the service. The workflow field is an optional setting where you define the default workflow for this request type on this service. This applies to all requests raised without using a catalog item. It also acts as the fallback workflow when a catalog item exists but doesn't have a workflow assigned directly to it. Next is the portal heads-up display. This is a visual representation of the request lifecycle, showing the workflow stages and checkpoints. We call it the workflow tracker, and this is displayed at the top of the request page. Here you can specify whether the workflow tracker is displayed, whether it shows the stages only, or whether it shows both stages and checkpoints. The View Details form controls the fields displayed in the Details section of the request form. From here, you can edit existing fields, add new fields, configure validation and mandatory options, and arrange the order that fields appear using drag and drop. The email configuration section is where you select the email template that becomes the default whenever an email is sent from the request page using the email action. If no template is selected here, the template defined in the Service Manager application setting is used instead. If neither a request level nor application level template is configured, a blank plain text email is available without a template. You can also configure grouping levels to organize different email templates into more manageable groups using the email template editor. Request categories are internal labels used to classify work and its outcome. These categories define which logging and resolution categories are available for each request type and service. Finally, we have request actions. Request actions are the operations that a service desk agent or the system can perform to move a request forward. These include assigning the request, updating details, communicating with the user, placing the request on hold, resolving it, closing it, and more. These actions appear on the request action toolbar, which is the bar displayed at the top of each request. So not every action is enabled by default, and in some cases an action may be available but not relevant for a particular request type. So each action can be enabled or disabled using the button beside it. For example, the email action allows emails to be sent directly from within the request page to any recipient by the service desk agent. The call action captures information from a phone call with a customer, and if the call isn't answered, a callback can be scheduled. The clock icon controls whether agents can record time spent when completing the action, with the recorded time feeding directly into Hornbill's timesheet manager if used. And that's the request configuration area. Each setting here controls a different part of how a service handles a request type, giving you full control over the experience from the moment a request is raised through to completion.